Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, whatever it might be. Today we're going to be talking about burnout. It's a topic in photography I don't feel like is talked enough. Obviously, as creatives, we can get burnt out, and I don't think it's spoken about enough. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about some of the ways that I personally negate getting burnt out, and hopefully you might find them useful. We are in the office. I'm going to be going out in a minute. We're driving an hour to the coast, going to be filming in a new location, shooting in a new location. Hopefully you guys like the content that's there, and obviously it's one of the ways that I do negate being burnt out is going to a new location. So next time you'll see me, we will be in the new location.
Rule number one of never getting bored: bring snacks. I probably should bring healthier snacks, but crisps are quite nice. All jokes aside though, I think when we're talking about how to not be bored when we're doing photography, a big thing is shooting new locations. So today I'm at Donna Nook in Lincolnshire Woods, and we're going to be shooting some seals. So this is going to come with some challenges because I haven't got a zoom lens. Obviously the Fujifilm is just a fixed focal length. That comes with its own challenges. But obviously shooting in a new location comes with its own challenges. What can I shoot? How can I shoot? I probably won't get all the photos that I want to get. But there's an excitement to that. I think in photography you can get quite comfortable shooting in locations you know, whether you live in cities or you live in the countryside, you just shoot those particular things. Or maybe, I know there's a few photographers that I follow, they're very fixated on shooting certain topics of things, even within cities and other locations. But I think there's something to be said for always going somewhere new and really testing yourself. And it's a testament to how good of a photography that you are, that you can go to any new location and get some photos that you're happy with. So that's what we're doing today. Going to get some photos of some seals. There's some seal pups, and we'll see how they turn out.
So I think the next point that I want to make is switching camera brands. Obviously for me, I shot with Sony for a very long time, however I now shoot with Fuji. And I think switching up camera brands, being made to relearn how to take photos is a huge thing. Today, like I said, we're in Donna Nook, and I have been here before actually with my Sony camera, I did forget. And the versatility I had with that was great, and I really knew how to take some fantastic photos. Today it's been quite challenging. I think I've got some good ones, but choosing different cameras to shoot with is a huge thing. And of course, having hot drinks like this make it all worthwhile. But yeah, I think shooting with different camera brands, new camera brands, maybe you've been shooting with Sony, Canon, Fuji even for a number of years, trying different brands out, I don't think you can go wrong. It really helps with that boredom aspect. Obviously there's an excitement of new camera gear. The process of taking photos, again, it all becomes new. So it's definitely something to think about if you think maybe you've been with a particular brand for quite a while and you want to switch it up and try something new. So I think that's going to wrap up the Donna Nook part of this video. I think next time we'll be back in the office, we'll be talking about some other things that you can do to prevent boredom with photography. But I'm going to take a few more photos now and see if we can get any better pictures of the seals. Evening everyone, or at least it's the evening for me. So it's actually been a couple of days since the last little clip that you just saw. But I wanted to make sure that I thought about this video properly and I gave it the time that it deserved. So it's taken me a few more days to refine what I wanted to say. But with that said, the next topic on my list in terms of how to prevent boredom when you're a creative, I wanted to think about if you were a Fujifilm user, what could you do? A great way that I prevent boredom at the moment using a Fujifilm camera, even though that I'm new to the system, is using film simulations. So some of the photos that you've seen from the other day, I was using completely brand new film simulations, as I'm still looking for my 7 best film simulations, or my 7 golden ones that I really prefer. I'm really on the lookout for a good one for portraits, so if anyone has any that they think might be good, please do let me know, but I'm really after a very good everyday portrait film simulation. So if you are a Fujifilm user and you're normally used to using the different variety of custom film recipes, maybe check out a few sites like Fuji Weekly. They have loads of different film simulations you can try. You can browse different photos to see which you might like. And it's definitely worth thinking about when you next go out shooting to try something new. Of course, if you shoot them in RAW plus JPEG and you use the Fujifilm software on your Mac or PC, you can change afterwards anyway if you don't like those photos. But I think it's always fun going out and choosing a new film simulation to film with, trying it out and seeing how it works. If it doesn't work, if you can add it to your catalogue of film simulations to use. Another way I feel you can prevent boredom is actually to put constraints on your photography. And what I mean by this is shooting with fixed focal lengths. Now obviously we know that the Fujifilm X100VI is 23 meters, 23 meters would be very long, 23 millimeter focal length, which is a good everyday focal length in my opinion. However, when I used to have a Sony, I had a 56 mil fixed prime and I had a 35 mil fixed prime and a 20 mil fixed prime. And I always felt that that helped stop boredom. I feel like zoom lenses, whilst they're very good and they definitely serve a purpose, they are boring. It's very easy to get the shot that you're after. There's not a lot of movement involved from yourself to try and get the angles that you're after. So try and think about that when with whatever camera you've got. Obviously, if you're stuck with this Fuji, there's no, you can skip past this. But even if you've got an X-T5 or whatever it might be, it's worth considering using a fixed prime lens and how that makes you move about and think about how you might get that shot that otherwise, if you'd had a zoom lens, would be very easy to get, but maybe a bit generic. Where if you're using something like this Fujifilm camera, you've got to think about how you can change things up. A great example of this was the other day when we were at Donna Nook. I've gone there before, like I've said, with a zoom lens, and it's very easy to get those great close-up shots of the baby seals. It's hard to not to get a good photo there. However, this time, I'm stuck with this camera, so what do? Well, I focused more on landscape shots. I took a few shots of people and I kind of tried to experiment more. There was boats in the horizon that I saw, so I was trying to get all that into this big wide frame, as I knew I wasn't going to get those profile shots of the animals. So it definitely made me be more creative, think outside the box. Side note, fingerless gloves, best invention ever, and they cost me £2.20. So definitely going to stockpile them. But yeah, think about that when you're next shooting, whether you can just take one lens. Maybe just try that. Go out with one lens. Don't go out with your entire camera bag. Next up might seem like a bit of an obvious one, but to prevent boredom, I would take your camera everywhere possible. Even like today, I've been out filming with a client and I took this in my bag. I didn't use it, but the fact is I took it with me. I think we can often get bored when we don't do the thing that we like doing. Whether you haven't been doing it for a couple of weeks or for a month or for 6 months, however long it is, the longer you leave it, the more bored and more boredom might set in terms of thinking about getting back into it. Where if you're always carrying it with you, you've got zero excuse not to use it. And that's where something like the Fujifilm X100VI, in my opinion, really shines, because it is so compact. It means I've got no excuse not to take it with me. Where if I was looking at an X-T5 or something like that, a bit of a larger body, there's that excuse to go, oh, it's a big camera, I'm not taking it with me. I know some people in the comments will say that the X-T5 is a tiny camera and what am I on about? But in my opinion, I've always shot with APS-C cameras and that's where the X-T5 shines in my opinion. Next is going to be quite contradictory to what I just said, but take a break. And what I mean by this is, especially what I'm doing here with YouTube, I feel that often I might be forced to go out and shoot when maybe I don't want to. And that's where boredom can or could set in when I'm taking photos, because I feel like I need to always be taking my camera with me and always be taking photos of everything I see, when that just simply isn't the case. There is some times where for a couple of weeks I don't take my camera anywhere, I don't take any photos, maybe some on my phone, but it's not serious photography. And that really helps me then when I do pick up my camera, I do go out, get my creative juices going. And I think it's something that often is underlooked, where if you step back and take a bit of time to recharge, rethink, maybe look at some new locations or watch some YouTube content like this, it might inspire you to go out there and start shooting again, but don't think that you need to be taking your camera everywhere with you. And my very last point, and I think this is a good point, especially for this time of year where we're in December, where maybe you're not going out as much with your camera, you know, it's getting colder, it's getting wetter, potentially more dangerous, depending on where you live. Revisiting old photos. So I've only really been doing photography for about 4 or 5 years, but I often revisit my old photos. I'm a bit anal when it comes to cataloging files, so it's very easy for me to go back and find those old photos quite quickly. But even if you're not so structured when it comes to where you keep your photos, revisiting old photos and going, I didn't post that, or maybe how you have leveled up your editing skills since you first started, maybe 4, 5, 10 years ago. It might be worth re-editing photos and seeing how you might be able to tweak them. It might be a fun thing to do maybe once a week if you're trying to post more on social media, where you're like, you know, throwback to 2020 when I, you know, went here and did this and took this photo. And you never know what you might uncover if you've got thousands of photos. You never know, you might have just missed one. And I think that might wrap up this video. It might be something that actually I revisit as time goes on when I'm thinking of more ways that you can be creative, how as a creative you can come up with new methods of not getting bored. I think especially doing YouTube content, you're pumping out a video, you know, once a week. So thinking about new ways of not doing old content and recycling old content might be a good way of updating this as we go along. But I hope this has been useful. Even if you're not a Fujifilm user, you found this useful, and as we go into the new year, you know, you'll plan some trips and other ideas. You know, tell me what are the ways that you come up with not to get bored. Of course, please do like and subscribe. We've been doing really well in terms of subscribers, and I want to keep that momentum going, so please do that. And if you like the music that you've been hearing throughout this video, I use upbeat.io for all my music and sound effects and graphics now that they've just come out with some graphics. So please do check that out in the link below. I've got a custom link where you can click through, you know, sign up for free. You get 3 free downloads. So it's certainly worth using if you're just maybe starting out when it comes to content creation and you want some royalty-free music to use. I've been using them for all my videos that you've seen, and they've been absolutely fantastic to use. And that's it. So we will see you guys next week. We're edging ever closer to Christmas. So Merry Christmas, everyone, and we will see you in the next one.